The jury trial of Shawn Puffy Combmes has just begun, and drama is already unfolding. What happened in court that nearly broke one of hip-hop's biggest icons? And could this trial rewrite the history of the industry forever? As the trial kicked off, an explosive video was played in court that almost caused Diddy to lose his composure. Rumors flew of a dramatic health scare, but the reality was far more layered, revealing how deep and complex this case really is. This footage is at the heart of the prosecution's case, showing alleged forced, drug-fueled sessions called freakoffs that paint a disturbing picture far beyond any typical scandal. Diddy's courtroom meltdown and the freakoff footage. The trial of Shawn Puffy Combmes hit a serious turning point as the court played a series of videos that shook the room, showing moments from what prosecutors call freakoffs, wild multi-day sessions where women were allegedly forced into terrifying situations. The footage was so intense, it nearly caused Diddy to lose his composure right there in court. Witnesses reported that he interrupted the judge mid-session, demanded a bathroom break, and appeared on the verge of passing out. Word spread fast across social media, sparking rumors of a breakdown or worse. But the real story behind the courtroom drama reveals a deeper battle, one that goes beyond the shock value of the videos. These freak-off tapes are at the core of the prosecution's case, alleged to show a pattern of coercion, drug use, and exploitation that Diddy and his organization orchestrated. The defense, however, pushes back hard, claiming these gatherings were consensual adult parties and nothing more. The jury is now faced with a difficult task: to sift through hours of explicit footage and determine whether they represent criminal behavior or wild but voluntary acts. This is not a simple yes or no. The implications stretch far beyond a single trial. The footage could either expose a meticulously planned criminal enterprise or be dismissed as misunderstood wild parties. Either way, the pressure on Diddy is immense, and the courtroom has become the stage for a showdown that might redefine power and accountability in the entertainment world. The criminal charges and the government's portrayal of the Combs enterprise. The indictment against Shawn Combs, also known as Diddy, paints a chilling picture of a vast and highly organized criminal enterprise. According to federal prosecutors, the Combs enterprise was not just a music business, but a sophisticated operation allegedly involved in trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and witness tampering. These charges suggest a level of coordination and control that goes far beyond individual wrongdoing. Prosecutors claim that this network included security personnel, house staff, personal assistants, and high-level supervisors, all working under Combs' directives to facilitate and hide criminal activities. The government argues that this was a system designed to exploit and silence victims, using intimidation and control tactics to maintain secrecy. What makes this case particularly striking is how quickly this empire, once a powerhouse in hip-hop and business, unraveled under the weight of these accusations. The indictment lists a range of serious offenses, emphasizing the alleged use of coercion and force, with potential sentences ranging from 15 years to life in prison if convicted. This portrayal by the government challenges the public perception of Combs as just a music mogul, revealing a darker side that allegedly involved running an organized operation to commit heinous crimes. The complexity and scale of these charges underscore the seriousness of the case and the intense scrutiny Combs faces in court, marking a dramatic fall from grace for one of the industry's most influential figures. The flood of civil suits and the impact on Diddy's business empire. Over 120 people, including minors, have come forward with allegations against Diddy, triggering a flood of civil suits that threaten to cripple his financial standing and dismantle his vast empire. These lawsuits go beyond simple claims, alleging severe abuse and exploitation spanning decades. The mounting legal battles have put immense pressure on his business ventures, forcing once loyal partners to reconsider their alliances. With each new lawsuit, the public perception of his brand takes another hit, contributing to a cascading effect on his commercial activities. Several major endorsements and partnerships have been severed or paused as companies distance themselves from the controversy. One of the most significant blows came when Diddy lost lucrative deals with major alcohol brands, cutting off a steady stream of millions in annual income. Additionally, the Revolt TV media company, co-founded by Diddy to uplift hip-hop culture and black voices, saw him step down amid the allegations, later selling his majority stake for a fraction of its potential worth. His clothing line, which once generated hundreds of millions in annual sales, witnessed a drastic decline in value, with key retailers pulling out entirely. Even his real estate holdings faced scrutiny, with several luxury properties raided by federal agents and potentially subject to seizure if convictions occur. The combination of legal fees, lost revenue, and damaged reputation has accelerated this financial bleeding, threatening to undo 3 decades of empire building in just a few years. The lawsuits also reveal a deeply troubling dimension beyond dollars and cents, challenging the ethical foundation and leadership of a man once heralded as a pioneer of black entrepreneurial success. With each revelation, the fragility of his empire becomes more evident, raising pressing questions about whether any aspect of his business can survive the ongoing storm. This flood of civil suits is thus not merely a legal battle but a turning point that could define the legacy of Shawn Puffy Combmes forever. The debate over consensual versus coerced activities. The defense frames the accused activities as consensual adult parties, challenging jurors to distinguish between wild behavior and coerced crimes. But this is far from a simple black and white issue. The heart of the debate lies in interpreting hours of graphic footage, where viewers must decide if they are witnessing empowerment or exploitation. This trial forces a critical look at how power imbalances can distort consent, especially within an industry known for its secrecy and pressure. Prosecutors argue that these freakoffs were not just spontaneous gatherings, but carefully orchestrated events where coercion and manipulation played a central role. They say Diddy's team allegedly facilitated drug use, forced participation, and recorded everything as leverage to control victims. Meanwhile, the defense maintains that these were consensual adult activities, pointing to moments in videos where victims appear happy and in control. This battle over consent isn't just about the footage. It questions the very nature of agency and choice under intense pressure and influence. The jury will need to balance the purported evidence of force and exploitation with claims of consent, making it one of the most challenging aspects of the trial. The debate also reflects wider societal conversations about consent, especially in environments where power dynamics are skewed. As the jury watches the footage, each second is weighed not just as a record of actions, but as a symbol of a larger struggle between accountability and denial. This section of the trial could redefine how the industry and the public understand consent, coercion, and responsibility in complex adult relationships. The digital age spotlight: how technology exposed the empire. In today's world, technology is a double-edged sword. It can build empires, but it can also bring them crashing down. Shawn Puffy Combs' case is a chilling example of this reality. What once helped him rise to the top of the music industry now threatens to unravel everything he built. The federal indictment and ongoing trial reveal how alleged crimes were meticulously recorded across years, capturing what prosecutors say are moments of systematic abuse and coercion. Devices like cameras, phones, and computers, which were essential tools for growing his business, ironically serve as the evidence of its downfall. The footage prosecutors hold isn't just blurry or questionable clips. They present clear documentation of activities showing exploitation spanning nearly 2 decades. This extensive digital trail paints a haunting picture, illustrating how crime has evolved in the digital age, becoming more organized and harder to hide. The defense fights back, claiming these recordings show consensual adult activities. But the existence of such precise and frequent recordings raises serious questions about intent and control. Beyond the videos, medical records indicate that many participants needed IVs to recover from these events, with staff allegedly arranged to provide care, suggesting these weren't simple parties, but carefully planned operations pushing people to their limits. This level of detailed documentation challenges traditional notions of secrecy and concealment in criminal activity, exposing the dark underbelly of an empire supposedly built on music and culture. Technology didn't just expose the crimes, it also exposed the system behind them, a network of people facilitating and covering up abuse. As digital evidence continues to play a dominant role, it reshapes how justice is pursued in high-profile cases, revealing that in the era of surveillance and instant recording, no empire, no matter how powerful, is truly untouchable. The ongoing emergence of new footage and expanding charges. As the trial continues, new footage keeps emerging, adding layers to an already complex case. The allegations now stretch back 2 decades, from 2004 to 2024, showing a long-standing pattern of behavior that the prosecution argues is systematic. Each new piece of video evidence potentially represents another victim or incident, turning what was once isolated accusations into an extensive network of allegations. Prosecutors have expanded the charges multiple times, indicating their confidence in the unfolding evidence and the breadth of the alleged criminal enterprise. With every new indictment, the scope widens, incorporating additional crimes and individuals. This continuous revelation raises serious questions about how such activities could continue unchecked for so long, and who in the inner circles might have known or turned a blind eye. The defense faces the daunting task of addressing accusations that grow more detailed and pervasive by the day. The emergence of new footage while the trial is underway adds immense pressure, reshaping the narrative and challenging the strategies on both sides. The jury is not just deciding on isolated events, but on whether there was a deeply ingrained operation designed to facilitate and conceal abuse. This development signals the case's unprecedented scale, and signals a turning point that could redefine how accountability is approached in cases involving powerful figures. The ongoing flow of evidence promises to keep this trial at the forefront of public attention, with every revelation more shocking than the last, keeping viewers and the entertainment world hanging on every detail. The Tupac Shakur murder controversy linked to Diddy. Tupac Shakur's tragic death has remained one of the most haunting mysteries in hip-hop history, and now new allegations are dragging Shawn Diddy Combs into the spotlight. According to recent confessions by Dwayne Keith "Kefty" Davis, a known member of the Southside Compton Crips, Diddy allegedly orchestrated Tupac's assassination by offering $1 million to carry out the hit. This shocking claim adds a new twist to the long-standing East Coast-West Coast feud that defined rap in the 1990s, bursting the story wide open once again. Tupac was attacked in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas on September 7, 1996, a crime that left the music world in shock and mourning. While Diddy has vehemently denied any involvement, evidence brought forward by Detective Greg Kading and others in a documentary suggests he was involved behind the scenes. The Southside Compton Crips, led by Kefty, are said to have been hired to execute the plan, linking gang violence to industry politics in a deadly way. Despite the gravity of these allegations, the lack of concrete physical evidence and the passage of time make the case complex and controversial. Diddy's history with Tupac was fraught with tension and rivalry, but also collaboration, further muddying the waters. The confession from Kefty sparked renewed investigations and divided the hip-hop community, with some calling for justice and others expressing skepticism. This controversy reminds us how power, loyalty, and violence intersected in hip-hop's darkest moments, and how the truth behind Tupac's murder remains elusive. As law enforcement reopens cold cases and explores new leads, the public waits to see if answers will finally emerge surrounding the music legend's untimely death. The impact on hip-hop culture and the reckoning ahead. Beyond the court, this trial signals a seismic shift for an industry grappling with power abuse and silence. The crumbling of a music empire built over 30 years challenges us all to rethink accountability and justice. Hip-hop has long celebrated strength and resilience, but this case exposes darker undercurrents of exploitation that can no longer be ignored. The culture of silence that protected influential figures is now facing its greatest reckoning. As allegations unfold and evidence comes to light, artists, executives, and fans are forced to reconsider what loyalty and success really mean. The spotlight is no longer just on individuals, but also on the systems and enablers that allowed abuse to thrive behind the scenes. This moment is about more than just one man. It's a call to action for the entire industry to confront its past and push for real change. The legacy of Shawn Puffy Combmes, once symbolizing power and possibility, is now a cautionary tale about what happens when fame and influence go unchecked. As jurors weigh the evidence in this landmark trial, society is watching to see how justice will be served. Will this trial serve as a turning point, or will it be another chapter in a long history of silence and concealment? The repercussions stretch far beyond legal verdicts. They impact how hip-hop culture moves forward, with or without the shadows of its past. This reckoning demands honesty, transparency, and courage from everyone involved. The question now isn't just about the empire that fell, but about how hip-hop can rise and heal after the storm. This trial isn't just about one man's alleged crimes. It's about a culture of silence, abuse, and a system that allowed darkness to thrive behind the scenes. From explosive courtroom footage to shocking murder allegations, the story of Shawn Puffy Combmes is still unfolding, shaping the future of hip-hop forever. It exposes how power can be abused, how victims have been silenced for decades, and the cost of turning a blind eye for fame and fortune. As the jury deliberates, the world watches not only to see if Combs will be held accountable legally, but also how this reckoning will change the industry's relationship with accountability. The empire that took over 30 years to build has crumbled in less than 2, revealing that no legacy built on exploitation can endure. This case forces us to rethink loyalty, consent, and responsibility within culture and commerce. And while the verdict could send shock waves through entertainment and beyond, the deeper challenge will be healing the wounds left by this saga. In the end, this isn't just a fall from grace, it's a wake-up call for all of us. The story continues, and its impact will be felt for years to come.